making me record all the time. All right. It is 2:01 on Monday afternoon. You guys have been working hard all day. In the morning, you worked on language arts lesson 3.02, and you made sure you read the story so that you'd be ready for the quiz tomorrow. If you haven't done it yet, go do it. And then you worked hard on math and you did your 5.0 pretest and you started looking at lesson 5.01. Although I'm always making a sad face, so maybe she didn't.
Wait.
And then at 12:20, you made sure you had an idea to write about so that you could, oh, old one ear, is that your one ear? Oh, you poked yourself with the pin. She's got blood. We've got an injury. Call the emergency room. We're going to have to amputate. At 12:20, you came in and we talked about your writing and how you're going to be doing. You're going to be doing writing this week and you all needed to have a topic. So almost everybody has sent me their topic now, which is awesome. And then it's 2:00 and it's time for science. So let's take a look at today's science lesson. It looks pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm going to optimize it for video clip because there are some videos in this lesson. That is not it. Here it is. So we are on lesson 6.03, the force of friction. Go ahead, Eli. What's your question?
I really is there only one language arts for this week?
No, there's more than one.
Oh well, because I saw there's on the calendar, it says there's only one language arts and it's a graphic organizer.
Well, that is the assignment, but if you look at the calendar, lesson 3.02 is today, and then tomorrow you turn in the graphic organizer. Then on Wednesday, you have 3.03, the next lesson, and on Thursday, you take a quiz, and on Friday, you do 3.04. So there's 3 language arts lessons this week. Okay.
Oh, but because I'm wondering, how do you submit the language arts? The graphic organizer.
The graphic organizer, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Okay. All right, my friends. So this week in science, you're on lesson 6.03, the force of friction. It's a 10-page lesson, but you have 3 days to do it. So that's cool. And it starts talking about friction. The world record for the fastest speed reached on a skateboard is 89 miles per hour. I wonder if that's actually been broken from the time that they wrote this. That would be interesting. That's faster than cars are legally allowed to drive on the highway. If you want to break this record, going really fast downhill is only the first part of the challenge. Stopping at the end is a job for friction and a really good pair of sneakers. Ooh, and that just reminded me of another cool thing about friction that I'm going to share. I love science. Science is so much fun. What will I learn in this lesson? I'll be able to identify the effect of 2 or more forces, such as friction, acting on an object. I'm going to show you a cool thing about friction. So here's the next page of the lesson, page 2, resisting motion. I'm not going to go through the whole lesson. I'm just going to go to the experiment so we can do that together. And then I'm going to let you work on this lesson in groups together. When a force is applied to an object like this push, what causes the object to slow down? And what causes the object to stop? Check your answer. It's friction. Friction is a force that opposes motion between 2 touching objects. Friction can cause the object in motion to slow down or stop. Practice like a scientist. Are you ready to see friction in action? Feel the force of resistance in this next activity. You're going to need one of the following options: 2 books, 2 stacks of paper, or 2 pads of sticky notes. Overlay the pages on top of each other as much as you can. Try to pull the sheets apart. What did you observe? So let me stop my share for a minute and show you what they mean. If I grab 2 books back here, I think I'll grab Phoebe and Her Unicorn and Amulet. 2 books. Da, 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 da. Can you see me right now? I must have my view, show self view. Here we go. Okay, 2 forces. Let's spotlight my screen. Okay, here we go. We are now going to lay those books down and point it at them and open them up and mix the pages a little bit. So overlap the pages like this. They're just overlapping. They're not glued or anything. A little bit of Phoebe, a little bit of Amulet. Just mixing the pages together to get it all sort of layered, like they said. Now, these books are not glued together, and I'm pretty strong. And I'm going to tell you, I did it. I pulled them apart, but on these books, I really couldn't. I'm pulling as hard as I can, and I cannot. Oh, I finally did it. Pull those books apart. So you guys should try this at home. If you have a couple of books, take and overlap, or you can do it with 2 stacks of paper. Overlap the pages, a little bit from one book, a little bit from the other book. The more you overlap, the harder it's going to be to pull them together, or I mean apart. And why is that? Because each page is rubbing against the other page with friction. So every one that's overlapped creates some friction to the others and doesn't want to pull apart. Pretty cool. So without gluing it, you probably could hang from it. It's so strong. You overlap them and it's amazing, isn't it, Leah? Frick.
I had to pull it with my, nope, it's not work. Hold on.
You can get them apart, but you kind of have to like wiggle them, and you have to loosen them up and get some air in there so there won't be so much friction, and then you can take them apart. So it doesn't wreck them or anything, but it's a pretty neat little experiment having to do with friction.
Oh my god! Oh gosh!
Then the same chapter has got, it's got an explanation of that, and then it goes on, and I think it's on page 4 where it goes to some videos of people with friction, and then it goes to a video of a car with friction. And I want to show you sailboats with blades that reduce friction. So nowadays, the way they make these racing sailboats is they make them so that they won't rub against the water. Because believe it or not, water has friction. Here we go. So you look at how these boats go now, and I know you can't see it too much, but if you look up close, they look like they're flying.
I don't know if you can hear that, but it sounds like they're literally cutting through the water.
Can you guys see that?
Hydrofoils underneath, they kind of are.
Look at that.
Boats are so efficient and so powerful, they can do 4 times the speed of the wind. It's unbelievable.
Who's fastest to Mark 1? The boats are up and boiling.
This is Sail GP, a high-speed, high-impact race featuring the world's most advanced hydrofoil sailboats. 8 countries with 6 crew, soaring across the water at speeds of up to 60 miles per hour, all thanks to an advanced hydrofoil design that means these boats aren't cruising, they're flying. As the teams prepare for their final race of the season, we go behind the scenes to learn how these boats are designed and built to push the limits of physics and human strength.
I'm trying to type of how.
It's amazing, isn't it? I'm going to stop
Here
it
in
actually.
San Francisco,
But if you want to see more about it, it's pretty cool. So what somebody came up with is the idea that when a sailboat is touching the water, it's having to push the water, and there's friction, like when your hands rub together. And so to take away that energy, they decided if the wind blew it and lifted it in the air, then the only thing touching the water would be those blades. And without friction, it could go a lot faster. So it's pretty cool the way science is being used in the world today, in sports and all sorts of other things. Today, your assignment in the next 2 days is to work on assignment. What did I say? 6.03. Now I've forgotten the name of the one that we're doing right now. Let me look for it.
Because we did.
Is it 6.03? Oh, it's because I didn't escape this. So as we look at the assignment today, 6.03, the force of friction, you do the lesson, read the lesson. It's kind of a long lesson. And then on Wednesday, you need to submit. So, and I think it's just a quiz. So what I want you to do right now in the breakout rooms is you can join each other if you'd like. Please be kind if someone comes into your breakout room, and make sure you let them join. And you're going to work on 6.03 in science. I want you to read and watch the videos because they're pretty cool. in the lesson. Remember that at the end of 5th grade, you guys have to take a science test over everything you've learned in science all the way through school. So it's super important that you're doing these science lessons and trying to learn this science. Also, it's important to life because it's kind of a neat thing. Nora, did you have a question?
Yeah, can we go in like groups and then
Yes.
share screen and do it? Or
Yes.
do it
And go
individually?
through it together. I think that's a great idea. So actually, I'm only going to make about, how many of you are on here? 14? So if you had like 2 to 3 people per room, that would be about 4 or 5 rooms. So I'll make 6 rooms.
Hold on, let me
And I'm actually gonna have it assign you to, oh, that's only 2. Let's go to,
what if you have
five.
3? What if you have 2 rooms of 7?
why don't we have 4 rooms of 3 each? Does that work? Or do you
Okay.
want them bigger? How about 3 rooms of 4? Okay. If you are really not appreciating doing the work in the room with a group, then you can leave, but it's fun to do it with a group.